For a sitting president's son, I believe this is a first and hopefully a last.
Tonight we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. I'll make you so good. We'll make them turn their heads every place we go. So won't you please be my little baby?
Oh, God.
Jimmy Kimmel has seen a lot of things on this show, but this one broke him completely because Don Jr. posted a honeymoon video on Instagram and Kimmel played it. And then something happened that has never happened before on live television. Jimmy Kimmel could not stop crying, not from sadness, from the video itself. He apologized to GMO, he apologized to the audience, and then called for a commercial break. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and let's get straight into it.
Donald Trump's is shot. We got a whole weekend worth of dementia to catch up on. It's like when you come back from vacation, you've got 300 messages in your inbox, all from your psycho boss. We're only 16 months into his second term now. Somehow, this man is at war with Iran and Milli Vanilli. On Wednesday of last week, the White House announced this big lineup for Trump's Great American State Fair, the 250th American anniversary concert. By Saturday, almost every one of the performers either said they never agreed to be part of it in the first place or dropped out of it. Like, they dropped out. Went so quickly. It was as if they'd been booked on a hantavirus cruise.
Jimmy Kimmel came back from the weekend with a full inbox, because somehow in the span of a few days, the president managed to start a war with Iran and Milli Vanilli at the same time. The 250th anniversary concert announced Wednesday. By Saturday, everyone either said they never agreed or dropped out. The whole lineup gone, as if they'd been booked on a hantavirus cruise. Think about that, an entire concert vanished in 72 hours.
Santos is now being investigated for allegedly betting that he would not go to the State of the Union and winning tens of thousands of dollars for staying home instead. And now, as a result, we can bet on whether he's going to prison again. George Santos George Santos betting money that he would go to the State of the Union and then intentionally not going to swindle others out of cash is the most George Santo-iest thing I think I've ever heard. Though in his defense, lip fillers are very expensive and he doesn't like to work. Can you imagine how stupid this guy is? I mean, literally 8 months ago, Trump let him out of prison. He gave him a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Jimmy Kimmel could not believe this one, because George Santos, 8 months out of prison thanks to Trump, is already being investigated again for betting that he would go to the State of the Union, then staying home, and pocketing tens of thousands of dollars. The most Santoist thing ever heard. And Kimmel had the perfect defense. Lip fillers are very expensive and he doesn't like to work. Trump gave him a get-out-of-jail-free card, and he used it to run a gambling scam.
I take the word dumb, take the B off, because most people don't know that, dumb ends with a B, but most people don't know. And all I do is I switch the E with a U, and you have a Democrat.
I don't care how many times he explains that. I love to hear it every time. I love every detail. I love removing the B. I love swapping the U with the E, and then the way he just rolls it out. Democrat, so triumphant. I can listen to him go through that 1,000 times, and I have a pretty good feeling we will have to listen to that.
Jimmy Kimmel had the vocabulary lesson nobody asked for, because the President of the United States sat down and explained his greatest intellectual achievement. Take the word dumb, remove the B, swap the U with the E, Democrat. And Kimmel's reaction said everything. He loves every detail. The B removal, the letter swap, the triumphant delivery, Democrat, and his prediction. We're going to hear this 1,000 more times.
Trump took time to brag about this. He wrote, "The results of my physical exam were extremely good, unlike other U.S. presidents, none of whom have ever taken an improved high-difficulty cognitive test. I scored a perfect 30 out of 30, considered extreme intelligence." Are the Democrats really surprised? In fact, this is my 4th such test. All perfect, 120 correct answers out of 120 questions asked. They're the same 30 questions over and over again, by the way. It is very rare that anyone gets a perfect score, especially when achieved 4 times in a row. That's right, no president in the history of this country has ever had to have his brain examined this many times in a row. Congratulations. What a thing to brag about. This is like bragging about passing a breathalyzer test. It doesn't mean you did great. All it means is they're not going to lock you up, okay? What you should be worried about is the fact that your behavior is so erratic, they keep asking you to take these tests.
Jimmy Kimmel had the perfect analogy because the President of the United States is out here bragging about passing a cognitive test. Perfect 30 out of 30. Extreme intelligence. And Kimmel nailed it in one line. This is like bragging about passing a breathalyzer test. It doesn't mean you did great. All it means is they're not going to lock you up. And the real warning, your behavior is so erratic they keep asking you to take these tests. That's not a flex, that's a red flag.
Last night, the Trump suck-ups at CBS fired a great and deeply respected journalist, Scott Pelley, from his job at 60 Minutes because he stood up for truth and integrity at a show that's been the gold standard for broadcast journalism for 57 years. Pelley had had enough after the clowns who now run that show in the CBS News division fired reporters Sharon Alfonsi and Cecilia Vega, along with the executive producer Tanya Simon, and replaced Tanya Simon with a guy who has no experience in TV news. And that was it for Scott Pelley. He said the collapse of values at the top has become untenable, and he let him have it in a staff meeting, right to the new guy's face. So last night they fired him. 60 Minutes will be replaced by new episodes of Reporters Unleashed.
Jimmy Kimmel didn't hold back because CBS just fired Scott Pelley, one of the most respected journalists in America, for standing up for truth at 60 Minutes, the gold standard of broadcast journalism for 57 years. Pelley watched them fire Sharon Alfonsi, Cecilia Vega, and executive producer Tanya Simon. Said the collapse of values at the top has become untenable, said it directly to the new guy's face, and they fired him for it. And 60 Minutes replacement, Reporters Unleashed.
Vanilla and Flo Rida, along with many of the performers who were originally announced, and that includes Morris Day, Young MC, and the aforementioned Milli Vanilli, are represented by the Universal Attractions Agency, which is an agency owned by a man who was unfortunate enough to be named, and everyone please relax when I say this, Jeff Epstein is the guy's name. Okay? This poor bastard. Hey, listen, you know what? I'm not a conspiracy guy, but what if Jeffrey Epstein didn't die and instead chose a fate worse than death, which was being Vanilla Ice's booking agent? Think about it.
Jimmy Kimmel found the detail nobody was ready for because all the performers who backed out of Trump's concert, Vanilla Ice, Flo Rida, Milli Vanilli, are represented by the same agency, and that agency is owned by a man named Jeff Epstein. Just Jeff Epstein. And Kimmel had a theory. What if Jeffrey Epstein didn't die and instead chose a fate worse than death? Being Vanilla Ice's booking agent. Think about it.
If that holds, it means that in November, Los Angelinos are going to have to choose between a woman named Karen and a man who is one. This is insane. We should be very embarrassed. Spencer Pratt should not be a top 2 finalist for mayor. He should be DJing the worst New Year's Eve party in Reno right now. Now, he's unlikely to win. And in fact, he's already filming a reality show about his run for mayor, so he definitely has his priorities in order.
Jimmy Kimmel had the perfect summary. In November, Los Angeles is going to have to choose between a woman named Karen and a man who is one. Spencer Pratt should not be a top 2 finalist for mayor. He should be DJing the worst New Year's Eve party in Reno right now. And the best part, he's already filming a reality show about his campaign, so he definitely has his priorities in order.
Which is apparently back on. Yesterday, Trump announced, in a sign of strength and fortitude, it was just announced that the Correspondents' Dinner, which violently ended rather abruptly on April 25th, will be rescheduled to July 24th. This announcement is a very good thing in that we cannot allow lunatics to change our way of life or even its scheduling. said the lunatic who has changed our way of life. And, well, maybe not our scheduling, but in any event, he said it will be a hot ticket. Interestingly, the location will be the Waldorf Astoria on Pennsylvania Avenue, a building and ballroom that I built. Hey, he already has a ballroom in Washington? Why are we building a new one then?
So there you have it. Jimmy Kimmel delivered the most complete breakdown of Don Jr.'s honeymoon video, George Santos gambling scam, Democrat wordplay, cognitive test bragging, Scott Pelley firing, Jeff Epstein the booking agent, and Spencer Pratt running for mayor, all in one show. And the finale said everything. Trump rescheduled the correspondents' dinner. Cannot allow lunatics to change our way of life, said the lunatic who changed our way of life. New ballroom at the Waldorf, a building he built. He already has a ballroom in Washington. Why are we building a new one then? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.